Here's what happened. I got a list of 50 stress releasing habits. Each one of these I've done over the last decade since starting my first business as a DJ. Over the years, I'm sure I'm missing like a few of these, but for these 50 habits, it's a list that I'm going to figure out and go through with you of figuring out which one's the champion. I have used all of these. They've been helpful in some ways. There's others I use more of. It's not saying to just do one habit, but it's cool to see like which one's going to be the champion based off of my own experiences over the last 10 years. And I hope it can inspire you to first create your own list of stress releasing habits, because being an entrepreneur, working on your business, it comes with high stress and high reward. You got to think about it as a pendulum swing as well. There's going to be those moments where you're going to feel high stress, but then you can release that stress. It's a signal from the body. And so for me, when I feel pressure, I know I'm feeling stress. And I've talked about it before with this pressure balloon that can fill up in your body of stress. You can have multiple balloons and your body has a certain amount of capacity to handle that. But you got to release that stress out so you can continue to move forward for the vision you have in the business, vision you have for your life, why the hell you got into this in the first place. I think about that for me with freedom, being able to make sure that I have choices for my future. And then if that's my partner or potential family, making sure, and just family in general, I think of my parents, giving them choices as well. That's something, freedom is really important for me in this area. And yes, it comes with a lot of hard work. It takes way longer than you think for building something, especially if you want to build something that has big impact. I've realized that it took me a few years to recognize that and not go for those shiny object shortcuts. But these habits have helped me to stay in the game, to keep moving forward. And I hope it can inspire you as well in your own journey as you're working on your business, and for you to figure out your own champion. So this is Make Brown Extinct. I'm Robert David Weeks. Welcome back. If you're new here, welcome. If you haven't done it yet, you can subscribe and follow the show for the latest episodes. It helps to continue to make this show even better for you. And so I appreciate that. And then today I want to get into these 50 stress releasing habits. As I talked about, they're in brackets. I'm going to get into each one of them or how they're set up. I had AI Bobby help me out for randomly organizing them. I'm pissed off at AI Bobby because there are already a few that I was like, oh, this will be nice for having these a little bit later on in the challenge for the bracket, so I don't have to just knock them out in the first round. But there's going to be some tough decisions I got to make going through these. I have not done this beforehand, so we're going to just go through this together. Let's kick it off with the first one. First round for the bracket. I have cleaning the kitchen to reset versus focusing on one task at a time rather than bouncing in the business. I really do like a clean kitchen, but for this one, it's focusing on one task at a time rather than bouncing in the business. For me, my mind can pinball all over the place. I got a ton of different ideas. I'm sure you can relate to that. As a high-performing entrepreneur, there's a lot of different things you could be doing. And that can cause you to go down these either tornado thoughts that can come up of, man, why can't I focus? What's going on here? Why is it so difficult? Why am I feeling stuck? Or it can lead you down these rabbit holes of distraction where you realize a few hours go by and you're like, man, I really didn't get anything done right now. So for me, this has been a really important habit because when I focus on one task at a time rather than bouncing, I don't feel that intense pressure as much as if I were bouncing around. And so it's great to be able to help me to release that stress out and focus in, lock in. And by showing up and being consistent with that habit, it's become a lot easier. The next one for the round. So let me take clean the kitchen to reset. I'm going to delete that. Okay. The next one is reading a book versus running either on the trail or road. I really do like sci-fi books, fantasy books. I haven't been reading lately, but I really like running too. I'm speaking at an event coming up, a running event coming up here soon. I'm going to have to go with, oh, this is a tough one. I'm all right. Number 2 is already tough. This is hard. Oh, this caused me to feel more stressed. Okay. Oh man. I'm going to have to go with running. Running is going to be the one. Because I haven't read a book in a long time and I've still been able to get by. Running's been a helpful habit, especially with some of the goals I have in my fitness. Oh, that's a tough one though. Already that's a tough one. Man, okay. I got way more that I was nervous about. So next one is sauna session versus laying on the ground and breathing. So with laying on the ground and breathing, I think about just like having that time to just chill, do some deep breaths. Sauna session for for being practical. I mean, I don't have a sauna where I'm traveling to or where I'm at in the house, so it's really nice to just be able to lay on the ground and breathe. I think about the impact on stress, impact on the other areas of life. I mean, I know how really cool or really helpful saunas can be from the information that's out there, but for practical purposes, I'm going with laying on the ground and breathing. Okay, next one. Finding the answer to a question I've been thinking about or I'm curious about versus journaling. Oh my gosh, this is another tough one. Oh man. I did not realize actually how hard this is going to be. Finding the answer to a question I've been thinking about or I'm curious about. Man, if I have something that's an open loop, it is so hard. I talked to my life partner, Adriana, about this where I'm like, I got to figure out the answer. So based off of the stress that can build and the impact it can then have in other areas of life where I stay stuck, I'm going to have to go with finding the answer to a question I've been thinking about or curious about. Journaling, oh man, that's been so helpful for me too. Okay, so I'm going to have to leave that one. Next one is staring at the sky versus hanging out at the beach slash ocean. Yeah, ocean time. That's what I have for this one. Man, I really do like the beach. We've been planning where we travel. One of the criteria for that is it close to the coast, like to a beach. That's where, because we travel more in like a nomadic way, like, a few months in different locations. So beach is definitely on my list. And it feels like home when I'm at the beach. I'm leaning towards the beach, even though it's not as practical. I'm doing that one. It's too big of a difference. Okay. Next one is connecting to my sexual energy versus holding the door or helping someone who genuinely appreciates it. Another tough one. And it's tough for me to have to say like sexual energy. I think you know what I'm talking about with that. But it's just the amount of what I'm learning about that energy and how powerful that is and its effect on all these other areas. It helps me to then be able to show up and help people. And if that's holding up the door or helping someone who genuinely appreciates it. So I think by that thought process, I'm gonna have to go with connecting to my sexual energy. Next one is laughing / connecting with a friend versus watching stand-up comedy. Oh my gosh. I'm going to have to go just based off of there's other ways to laugh. I think about that with stand-up comedy. I'm going to have to, because laughing with friends, like that have such a bigger effect on other areas of my life with the release of stress there. It also comes back to knowing I'm not alone, that I can connect with someone that I really care about. So I'm going to go with laughing / connecting with a friend. All right, that's my thought process. It's all right. Next one is HIIT style workout versus paddleboarding on the ocean. I'm gonna have to go immediately with HIIT style workout. I really like that for how I feel afterwards. I'm just like, fuck yeah, I did that. It's awesome. I feel badass. I can do that in any spot. With paddleboarding, I gotta have a paddleboard, then rent it somewhere because I'm not gonna bring one with traveling. So it's renting it, then making sure I'm by ocean. So for practical, I'm going with HIIT style workout. Next one is sitting outside in the sun versus taking a power nap. Oh, man, I really like a nap. That's been something I've been doing recently for a habit. It's been really helpful with work to then get this burst in the afternoon of more energy. And it's giving me a nice reset. But sitting outside in the sun, I can't imagine just being inside all the time. And that has also been really helpful. I think taking in all three considerations, I'm going with, just from my gut, sitting outside in the sun. I'm going with that one. I thought this would be a lot faster. It's taking a little bit longer than I wanted. All right, next one is I gotta go with the gut here. Getting clear on what I'm focused on each day in the business versus breath work. Oh, come on. Damn, that's a tough one. Breathwork, deep breathing, it's so impactful on this. I would say breathwork because then that can help me to get clear on what to focus on in the day. So that's where my logic's coming in. Breathwork over getting clear on what to focus on. Next one, being by myself with no technology versus watching a movie. Oh, I like a good movie. Oh man. For me, I like comedies. I used to I'm trying to think of like I think of like Hangover for movies. Really like that. The first one, the other one's not so much. And I like action too, but then being myself, no technology. It's really hard at first to do that at the beginning for a habit. It's really hard to get that reset in, but practical, it's there because maybe I don't have time to watch movies. Like movies are like a few hours. It does have a big impact on stress with technology or with no technology, of releasing it. Okay, I'm going to go with being by myself, no technology. Next one, playing card games versus jumping on things outside. Oh my gosh, playing card games. Adriana and I, we did that a little while back. It was so fun because usually we'll watch a movie or a show at night, and we've been mixing it up. Playing cards was so much fun, but I haven't done it enough to really get a sense of its impact on my stress compared to jumping on things outside. That I noticed it's so cool. I'll just go outside, jump on different things, releasing that tension out of the body by jumping with motion. Like with moving, you're literally producing energy in the body, and then jumping on things, it feels like I'm able to release that tension out, put my focus on jumping on things. It's just fun. It reminds me of being a kid at summer camp. So that's what I'm going with. Saying no, I feel like I'm over explaining these, but hopefully this helps. Saying no to something I don't have the energy for versus listening to music in the car. I'm gonna have to say saying no to something I don't have energy for, because that just is so draining, creates more stress. It feels like I'm going against myself, not honoring my own commitment. And then listening to music in the car, I mean, I jam out, but that's gonna be the one. Next one is letting myself fully feel an emotion versus lighting a candle at night. I'm gonna go with letting myself fully feel an emotion. Okay, I have a second habit of it, or another habit similar to this I'll get into, but I'm gonna go with that one because it's had such an impact on connecting back, being able to feel like I'm reconnecting to my body. Not, I used to be really scared of my body, uh, where I'd have this fear that it was the enemy, it was against me, and so I would be feeling that in a lot of stress because of that. Something's going to go wrong. I'm going to get sick, get a disease. That those tornado thoughts, I experienced a lot of that, and especially had an effect on showing up in the business, being able to move forward in the business. There have been different moments like that. So it has been a massive transformation in my life to let myself feel these emotions rather than bottling them all up. So I'm gonna go with that one. Next one is self-massage versus cooking. Ooh, I do like giving myself a massage. You can do that. You don't have someone else to do that for you. But then cooking, I really like. I really like cooking. I'm gonna go with cooking because it's just cool. It's variety. It helps me with variety. That's really important for me as I'm working in the business, is to mix things up. I cannot do the same thing day in, day out, but I can. It's like working out. There's so many different ways to work out. That's where the variety can come in, similar with cooking. Next one is sharing what I'm feeling instead of hiding it versus turning off notifications / social media off. Oh man, come on. It's another one. I'm going to go with sharing what I'm feeling instead of hiding it. That one, for the effect it has in all these different areas of my life. With the turning off notifications, I could just like put my phone somewhere and put it out, not in the same room. So that's what I'm going to go with. Or just not carry it with me. Next one is body scan / releasing tension versus getting an idea out on my phone or on paper. Body scan has been really helpful with releasing the tension. Being able to understand where I'm feeling that pressure in my body is helpful because then I can recognize, oh, this is me feeling stressed. It's not something else that's going on with my body. That clarity, the more I understand about my body, then less fear grows. But getting an idea out on the phone and paper, oh man, those ideas. I'm going to go with body scan / releasing tension. All right. Next one, doing something I want to do, even if I don't feel like it in the moment. Verse, reminding myself not to take life so seriously. Oh, come on. I'm going to go with reminding myself not to take life so seriously. That's really important. I mean, the other one is very important too. I mean, that's a toss up right there. Next one is listening to EDM / dancing around the house versus stretching / corrective exercises. Man. All right. I really like EDM and dancing around the house. I'm going to go with stretching corrective exercises. I think the long-term impact that has is powerful. I think with EDM, I could listen to different genre. I like different genres. Dancing around the house, I mean, I could do different forms of exercise. So that stretching corrective exercise, I'm going to go with that one. Because I think about that with posture. It's been so powerful for me for staying consistent with my fitness is actually focusing on corrective exercises. That was a great way for me to get started in staying consistent. And they're easy. Or I mean, easy depending, it depends on everyone. But like for me, it was easy for the amount of time I had to put towards those. I didn't have to put as much time. Next one is getting ready for an event / feeling prepared for an event versus being proud of myself for doing something scary. Well, the getting ready for an event, feeling prepared, I mean, that's really important. But I think being proud of myself, that has a ripple effect. By being proud of myself, I can then prepare. Like, especially if I'm doing something scary, it creates that momentum, confidence that grows within me. So that's the one I'm going with. Man, another tough one though. Next one is letting sound move through. So this relates to me early on in connecting to my emotions, like screaming in the pillow. Rather than that's been one that was helpful of like releasing this buildup of the stress. Groaning is another one, just doing the grunts or like, oh, let's go. That one versus so it's that habit versus going someplace new / doing something new. Variety. Come on. I'm gonna go with going someplace new, doing something new. The other one, there's different ways to connect to those emotions, so that's the one I'm gonna have to go with. That's a tough one. Writing 3 things I'm grateful for versus telling the truth, even when it's uncomfortable. I have in the past, I say that when I hit my burnout after the social media conference back in 2018, I lied so much and it just built. That stress just built. And so telling the truth, even when it's uncomfortable, and I'm not perfect. Like, you're not perfect either. Nobody's perfect. But telling the truth, always coming back to that habit, even when it's uncomfortable, I've noticed such an impact on my stress, on releasing the stress out and the effects it's had on other areas of my life. It just, and it's practical. It's very practical. I mean, that one's practical too, but I'm going to bring all 3 in to help me out with that thought process. Next one is work time blocks for completing one task I've been avoiding. Oh my gosh. Work time blocks have been so helpful, but I got to go with completing one task I've been avoiding. That thing that you push off for days or weeks, and then that stress is building in your body. Like, I got to get to this, got to get to this. And then it can affect other areas where you get stuck. That's the one, that task. Completing one task I've been avoiding. That's it. Next one is repeating affirmations out loud versus taking cold showers / cold plunges. I am not a fan of cold showers, cold plunges. Like, I tried it. It's just, I'll do it once in a while. People are like, let's go do this. But the repeating affirmations out loud, there's been a lot of shitting on affirmations. And they really helped me at the beginning to just start to believe. For me, 3 that I repeated to myself was, it's natural, this is temporary, and then, oh man, what was the third one? This it's natural, this is temporary, I'm safe. When feeling my emotions and connecting back to these fears that I have, facing those fears, having those 3 there, really helpful to hold on to and to help me to move forward. So that's what I'm going to keep. Okay. Next one, just because this habit, okay, so this one is hanging out on the couch with my partner slash cuddling versus doing a body based shakeout or somatic reset. I have something that's similar because I connect back to the emotions, feeling the emotions. And so at first I thought this was going to be a hard decision to make because if I didn't, I remember telling my somatic teacher where if I hadn't worked with her, I don't think I would have been prepared to be able to get in a relationship with Adriana. I hadn't been in a committed relationship before her. And I'm in my, how old was I when we met? Man, I think late, was I early 30s, early like 30 or 29, around there. I'm trying to think, 2023. Can't do my math right now for that. But I hadn't. And it had been this fear of getting into a committed relationship. I realized I had to connect back to my emotions, understand more about my life, myself, and how I can communicate better. And so that was really important. But I don't have to choose for this one because I have the other one of connecting to emotions. So I'm going to go with hanging out on the couch with my partner, cuddling. For me, the relationship outside of my own health is top priority. It goes above work for me. It's there. And because it ripples in all these other different areas of my life. And based off of my own work of connecting to my body, living with someone, especially, for us, we both travel together and we're working in the same space. And so, it's like 24/7 together. So we do have our moments of making sure we have our own alone time. But when you're living with someone like that, you want to make sure that you feel connected to them. And with hanging out on the couch with her and cuddling, that's the time to connect. And that has such a powerful impact in all these different areas of life. Helps me to continue to go, move forward, face the fears. And then it does help to release that stress out as well from, the workday, being able to cuddle at the end of the night. All right. So that's it right there for the first round. I'm going to speed through this next round. Focusing on one task at a time rather than bouncing versus running, trail, or road. I'm going to go with focusing on one task at a time rather than bouncing because with that work in the business, when I can get stuff done in the business, it then will open up more time for me to go and do other activities like the running. But that is so important. Next one is laying on the ground and breathing versus finding the answer to a question I've been thinking about or I'm curious about. I'm gonna have to go with finding the answer to a question I've been thinking about or curious about. I'm gonna go with that one. Hanging out at the beach / ocean, connecting to my sexual energy. Again, I'm gonna go with connecting to my sexual energy. Thinking back to like practical, especially if we're not near an ocean or beach, the impact on the stress. Yeah, that's the one. Next one is laughing / connecting with my friend or hit style workout. Oh man, because there's other forms of workouts. I'm going to go with laughing and connecting with a friend. Sitting outside in the sun, breath work. I'm going to have to go with sitting outside in the sun. Just being outside, it's such a big impact on me for releasing the stress, especially if I feel boxed in I'm getting stuck with a challenge. Getting up outside, that creates a whole new environment for me, adds more variety. Okay, that's it. Being by myself with no technology, jumping on things outside. Oh man, that's a tough one. I'm going to go with my gut, jumping on things outside. Because being by myself with no technology, well, no, I'm reversing it because being by myself, no technology, that could mean I could still be jumping on things outside. But with having a break from technology, just being able to create a reset is really helpful at some points in the day. Saying no to something I don't have the energy for, letting myself fully feel an emotion. I gotta go fully feel the emotion. I mean, saying no, like, damn man, this is tough. So tough. Okay. I'm gonna have to go to some of these habits afterwards here. Letting myself feel, fully an emotion, really important. Helps me to get back to a baseline to then make better decisions moving forward in the business, in other areas of my life. Next one is cooking, for sharing what I'm feeling instead of hiding it. I got to go with sharing what I'm feeling instead of hiding it. I got to go with that one. Cooking. We could go to a restaurant. because that is so important. Like when you hide something, that thing that you're hiding, and it may have been years you've been hiding this. Just being able to share what you're feeling, it's such a big stress release. Next one is body scan / releasing tension, reminding myself not to take life so seriously. Just because I have the feeling, the emotions, which connects to body scan as a way to understand where the pressure is in the body. I'm using that thought process. I'm going with reminding myself not to take life so seriously. It's important to remember the fun. I mean, that it's already comes with the territory of being hard. The effort and the work that you're putting in, finding those different ways to remind myself not to take it so seriously helps to keep me grounded. Next one, stretching, corrective exercises. Being proud of myself for doing something scary. I mean, I got to go with being proud of myself for doing something scary. Really like those stretches and corrective exercises, but it's so, I mean, I keep saying like big, massive, powerful. It is so true with being proud of myself. I know it can be hard that's where you can, it's really important with Make Brown Extinct. What it means in one way is being satisfied in the effort you put out in the day and then realizing you're capable of more. But it's that satisfaction of like, you put it out there, you're proud of yourself. That helps you to enjoy this day rather than like feeling miserable, constantly thinking it's going to be an end destination. It reminds you to come back into the journey. Next one is going someplace new / doing something new and then telling the truth, even when it's uncomfortable. Oh, man. Just based off of impact on stress release, I got to go with telling the truth, even when it's uncomfortable. Like the one that you got to release out, because if not, they'll stay with you in the body. And some of what I talked about, these pressure balloons, it can get bigger and bigger. So that's the one I'm going to go with. Next one is completing one task I've been avoiding versus repeating affirmations out loud. Completing one task I've been avoiding. Just putting it off. I gotta go with that one. Especially within the business. I mean, because if not, your business is you're gonna feel stuck in there. Okay, so let me reorganize these. I just realized I don't think I have I think I have the right number. I had 25. Okay, let's see if this pans out for one champion. Next one is hanging out on the couch with my partner / cuddling versus focusing on one task at a time rather than bouncing. Just because I have the other one of completing one task I've been avoiding, I'm going to go with hanging out on the couch with my partner / cuddling. Because it goes back to how important the relationship is. Next one is finding the answer to a question I've been thinking about or I'm curious about, connecting to my sexual energy. Again, going with sexual energy on that one. Laughing / connecting with a friend, sitting outside in the sun. I mean, I'm wondering, does that mean I don't have any sun? Like I'm inside all the time? Because that is rough. But laughing and connecting with a friend is so important too. Just the idea of having oh, man, I know how hard that is when you feel like you have no one in your corner. And so, yeah, I'm going to go with laughing and connecting with a friend. Being myself with no technology, letting myself fully feel an emotion. That's what I'm going to be going with. Sharing what I'm feeling instead of hiding it, reminding myself not to take life so seriously. These just don't get any easier right now. Just based off of sharing my feelings instead of hiding it. I mean, sharing that, especially with like my partner, with friends, that's what helps me, I feel like, to have real friends. Because I remembered after my burnout, I felt like I really couldn't talk to my friends of like what was going on. Just because I really had a hard time sharing what I'm feeling. So that's what I'm going to go with. Next one, being proud of myself for doing something crazy, telling the truth even when it's uncomfortable. Oh shit! This just keeps getting harder. oh man, I gotta go telling the truth because I'd be proud of that. So I'm gonna go telling the truth even when it's uncomfortable. Next one is completing one task that I've been avoiding, hanging out on the couch with my partner / cuddling. I gotta go with completing one task I've been avoiding because if not, I'd be thinking about that task. And then if the business is not able to move forward and we're not able to be supported, or if I'm not able to move forward in the business and then have the business support our lifestyle, I mean, then we're not going to have time for the hanging out on the couch with the partner because we're both going to be working. So I'm going to go with completing one task I've been avoiding. I got to let that one go. All right, let me move these, readjust. Next one is connecting to my sexual energy, laughing / connecting with a friend. I got to go with connecting to my sexual energy. Letting myself fully feel an emotion, sharing what I'm feeling instead of hiding it. Letting myself fully feel an emotion. Because then I'll understand what I'm feeling to be able to share that. Telling the truth even when it's uncomfortable, completing one task I've been avoiding. Man, that's tough. I think I'm going to go with telling the truth because then that'll help me for releasing the stress out to realize, okay, I haven't been working on this task to make it happen. This is my thought process. So I'm doing it. And then it affects all these areas of my life, telling my truth of what I want even. All right, down to the final four. Oh my gosh. This is wild. All right, so I got to readjust here. Okay, readjust the order. All right, here we go. Telling the truth, even if it's uncomfortable, completing one task. Wait, no, didn't I already do that one? Okay. I think I'm at. All right, this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to have to go through this. We're making it happen. We got 3. So we got 3. I'm going to pick 1 out of the 3. Telling the truth, even if it's uncomfortable, connecting to my sexual energy, letting myself fully feel an emotion. Out of these 3, I'm going to go with letting myself fully feel an emotion. That's a champion habit. Without that, I won't be able for the other 2 to understand what is that truth that I'm feeling, and then also connecting to my sexual energy. It's really important for me to feel these emotions to be able to go do those too. All right, that's the champion habit for me, is feeling myself fully in emotion. This has had such a powerful impact, not only in how I show up as a man and then as a business owner, but for friends, for family, my partner, all around. It's by letting myself feel these emotions and not letting them bubble up, or not letting these pressure balloons build up. It's helped me to live such a better life that I'm really grateful for in a lot of ways. There's still plenty of room for improvement, going back to this idea of immense potential, or this principle of immense potential, which states that you have more potential within you than you could ever develop in your lifetime. So true fulfillment comes from being on the path of developing that potential, meaning being on the path of growth is how I interpret that, moving forward, making progress. And yeah, it just kind of connects back to with feeling all these emotions. I mean, that's what feeling alive, feeling this aliveness. So many times I would feel that numbness, and man, that dulled my life in so many ways. So for you, it'd be interesting to know what is your champion habit. If you create your own list of 50, or you can go through this list of 50, you can send me a message about that too. And I want to remind you that it's really important to have this list. It's going to help you, especially on those really hard days, working on your business moving forward. So make sure that you're coming back to what are the ways to release the stress out. How you can think about it for the pressure balloons, to pop those pressure balloons and to release that stress out of the body, and to be able to move forward. And what it is, I think about that moving forward and being able to master this skill of communication with your body and continue to move forward in the business. You got this.